Powered by Riverside.
Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to Animal Warrior Radio, Voices Carry for Animals, number 532 shows this evening and counting. And I just want to go over a couple things before we do get started here. My name's Debbie Dahmer, a.k.a. Mama Bear. And Mama Bear is on the air because she really does care. So I want to go over a couple things right now. For all you listeners out on the web, Deb is on the web, okay, and coming live stream from Riverside, and this is awesome. This is my fourth show on Riverside live stream. I want to give them a shout out because they've been so helpful. All the super staff and team that they have to help me along, because I'm still a newbie at this over here at Riverside. So, and a big thank you to all you Riverside staff and team for all your support and help. And this podcast is so awesome, and the platform from the host site, and there's a newsletter that I can send out. And please check that out. It is all demand episodes of former shows you can listen and share 24/7. And keep spreading the word, because a lot of people on social media are not on the same time and days, so there's someone that's going to miss it and would like to listen to it, so they can always go back and listen and share 365 days a year. And I want to another thing, when you're on this, there are links for this studio chat room here, and it is awesome. You could join us. I have links all over LinkedIn and also X and Facebook, and you can check them out on my personal page, Debbie Dahmer, and that's on Facebook. DEBBIEDAHMER, our Voices Carry for Animals support group also, and it's going all over the social media. Just press that link and you can enter this live studio chat room, and it is awesome. When you hook up, it's going to ask you if you have headphones or no, you don't have headphones. Push that and then join studio. And there's also a public chat that's going on through the social media, and you could join that way also. And that is also on all the platforms I have, my pages and groups and everything. So we're trying to gain subscribers out there, gain listeners and everything. So it's we want to expand here because I had to start from scratch. So I just want to go over a couple things and go from there. I want to introduce my guest. This is great. His name is Michael Schneider, and he has done so much out there for the pilots to the rescue.org. He is the founder, and he is just absolutely, I mean, amazing in all the work that he is doing out there, and he's continuing too, and he needs all of us to give us all our support, and so do the animals because they cannot speak for themselves out there. So what we want to do is go over this show, and we're going to learn more. It's going to educate us. But he is the also the executive director and chief pilot, aka Top Dog Pilots to the Rescue. Topic Pilots to the Rescue's mission helped 7,000 plus furry souls saved and counting, animal rescue nonprofit with wings, flying pets out of danger and into loving arms. Their mission is they fly to save lives. So this is wonderful. And but Michael, I'm going to bring you on air. How are you this evening? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you so much. It's great to
Hey,
be here, Debbie.
you're so very welcome. I mean, this is an honor to have you on. So but what we're going to be talking about, we're going to go for an hour for Michael and everything, and that's no problem at all. But there will be some callers calling. Okay, Michael, with questions or comments. We'll try to get out as much information as we can, on your websites and all your social media sites and everything. Okay. But before we talk about Pilots to the Rescue, tell us about your background and what were you doing professionally before animal rescue became such a central part of your life. Go right ahead.
Absolutely, Debbie. I've been a serial entrepreneur since a young age, as early as 11 years old. And prior to Pilots to Rescue, I had a corporate events business that got decimated by COVID. So I started Pilots to Rescue back in 2015, but I had not done it full time until 21. And I have COVID to thank for that. Definitely a COVID success story. But all my life, I've run many businesses, and it helps me run this charity.
Yeah, this is wonderful. I mean, that you keep going and all the amazing staff and everything, and I call them the super team, and especially thank you to Patricia Jones out there, who helped us get connected, and also Lisa. I got Lisa's. I want to give her a shout out also. I think it's Lisa Graham, and thank you all. I hope you're all tuning in too. And this we got this together, and it's amazing. And all you listeners out there, please spread the word from every angle, and we could go from there. But Michael, you want to go ahead and which passion came first to you, aviation or animals? Go right ahead.
Animals. Animals was my first passion. Uh, my family always took us to the local SPCA, and that's where we adopted all our cats and dogs when I was growing up. And I also had a connection with all kinds of animals, gerbils, fish, hamsters, hermit crabs, turtles. I was the boy in the neighborhood that injured the nursed back the injured bird to health. And my father's idea of what we could do when the hamsters got on the walls was to go back to the SPCA and adopt a cat. So that was growing up. That's all I ever knew, that you could adopt animals. I didn't know you could buy animals. I didn't know anything about full breed animals. We always had these loving shelter pets. So I had that beautiful connection with those animals. And that same SPCA that we adopted dogs and cats from in Briarcliff Manor, New York, in Westchester County, Westchester SPCA, I'm proud to say that we do transport for them today. So it's a really full circle. And I turned my love of pets into a business at an early age of 11. From like 11 to 13, I would do pet sitting. And that might seem foreign to a lot of people back then, because now you can just dial up on one of these apps like Wag or whatnot and have someone walk your dog. But back then, I'm turning 50 this year, so this is almost 40 years ago. Back then, it was unheard of to let a 11, 12, 13-year-old kid into your home and change the kitty litter or feed or water the dog or walk the dog. And that's what I did in my neighborhood. I just loved animals.
You are awesome. Hey, real men and real women and animal, and children, they really love animals. Yep. And I love them too. That's why I'm on this podcast. So this is great. This is so inspiring and uplifting, to hear all this that will help animals out because they really do matter. The animals, elderly, and the children, they all matter, and we have to help them. So. Another question: when did you first learn to fly, and what sparked your love of aviation?
My love of aviation came from skydiving. I was living in Cincinnati at the time, and I was dating this woman who asked if I wanted to go skydiving for my birthday. And I had never experienced what it was like to be in a small plane. So we were sitting in what I think was a Cessna, and they pulled the seats out, and I had some guy strapped to my back. And I just was taking in the instrumentation and the single pilot, and I was very engaged with that part of the process until we jumped out of the airplane. So after like my third or fourth jump, I started asking questions of the pilot, and he encouraged me to take a discovery flight. And discovery flights, there's a lot of little airports. There's 4,000 airports in the United States. So there's probably one located right near you where you can go up with a flight instructor, and for an hour you can experience what it's like to fly. And I was hooked. I took lessons immediately, and I got the bug. And I got my pilot's license, I think I was 37. So about 12 years ago. And to date, I'm a commercial instrument rated pilot with about 1,500 hours now. So yeah, that's the aviation part. When I moved back to New York, I heard about people giving back with their pilot's license. So I started doing different, what they call public benefit flights. So I did some medical flights. I transported I gave discovery flights to foster kids. And then I heard about people transporting animals in their planes. And of course, that was my calling. So initially, I raised funds so we could purchase a larger plane because typically the planes that pilots have access to are very small. You can't really carry a lot of animals. And it's very hard to rent or be in a flying club with a larger plane. Insurance doesn't really like it when you put extra people on the plane, so you can't find them very easy. So that's why I wanted to start the charity and raise money. So
yeah, it's so interesting and so impressive what you're doing, and continue, because without us, these animals don't stand a chance. They don't. We need to help them, be their voices, help them in any way we can with better lives and futures, but another question I have is, was there a particular animal experience or rescue mission that made you realize you wanted to use aviation to save animals?
Well, the first one comes to mind. That's what really sparked my interest. The first rescue we ever did was a litter of ditch puppies, and it's disheartening as that's exactly what it was. We noticed we are always going down south, Carolinas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Florida, and we're bringing them back up north. This particular transport I'm speaking of was the ditch puppies were from North Carolina, and we flew them up to Connecticut where they could be adopted by their forever home. And we didn't have a lot of information about them, but what I've come to find is people down south, and just in general, some rural breeders, they like to witness the power of birth, and they hope to sell the puppies and then realize nobody wants them, or they can't sell them, and they throw them in the side of the ditch and road. In this case, we've rescued puppies from dumpsters and buildings. Really horrible situation. But that's
Okay, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Yeah, you just cut out just 1 second.
All right.
Yeah, I can hear you good now. My audio is really good now.
All right, yeah. I hear a little bit of an echo, but I can manage.
Is there an echo coming in?
A little bit.
Okay, I'll check that out while you go ahead and talk, okay?
Yeah.
One second. You can go ahead and tell the audience. Hold on one
Okay.
second.
Yeah. So I did that flight, and we started raising money so we could purchase our first plane, which is was in 1976. That's the same year I was born. Piper Lance. A lot of people find it interesting that aviators are still flying planes that are really old. Um, these these piston planes haven't really changed since the 50s. Today, we are fortunate enough to fly what's considered a more reliable, more robust aircraft called a turboprop. So Big Paw, we call her Big Paw. She's a 10-passenger aircraft, and we take the rear 8 seats out. And we just flew 83 cats in that plane. Can you imagine? Um, and we've done 68 dogs and cats. Typical mission's probably closer to 30 or 40. But yeah, we love doing it. To date, we've rescued over 7,000 animals, and I really feel like we're just getting started. Um, can you hear me? Okay. Um,
Okay, Michael, can you hear me?
Tyler, you didn't really view this as anything more than another game.
I'm having some audio problems here. Can you hear me?
My mom came up with the dark here. You're very scared.
Okay, Michael?
Emboldened.
Okay, you there?
Mistakes. Putting even more lives.
Okay, can you hear me?
911, what's your emergency? We're gonna blow up my high school. Meeting each police defender. Yeah, I left some bombs at my high school and they're gonna blow up the kingpin in. What school is it? Marble Times. The caller called Dahmer High School directly and made a bomb threat. Then they say that there was an active shooter on scene. Can you tell me why you're doing this? Yeah, because I'm upset with some people. They got me mad, so now they're going to pay for it. You know, this day and age, that's one of the most horrific things that a police officer could respond to is an active shooter situation. So this was a deliberate action made by a punk that intended to scare a lot of people. They're going to detonate and then they're...
When the clock strikes dinner, thanks Gophers. Always easy, always delicious.
Score big with the DQ $7 meal deal. And for $2, you can upgrade to a small blizzard from the Blizzard Cup lineup, starring the Biscoff Cookie Blizzard. The $7 meal deal, $2 blizzard upgrade. Get it delivered in the DQ app. With Domino's, best deal ever you can get. Any size pizza, any toppings, only $9.99. Say less. But wait, there's more. They added stuffed crust. That's the
yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you on the phone, but
not on the. Yeah, because my microphone is working. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Let me know if you can hear me.
I can hear you a little bit.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay, they can hear me. They can hear me. Yeah, they can hear me. All right, Darla, I'll just hang up now and speak on the thing. Darla or Harlan, do you have any questions? Put them in the chat. I'll answer them. So we started in 2015. We've rescued over 7,000 animals. We're typically going down south, as I mentioned, and bringing them back up north. We have 2 planes and 8 rescue vans. We're getting ready to purchase our second large rescue plane, which will be kept in Vero Beach, Florida. And we're very much wanting to expand nationwide to provide our services free of charge. We don't charge for our services. We mainly work with shelters that are overcrowded. The animals can they have to be at risk of being euthanized. So they're largely from overcrowded municipal shelters. Harlan, I don't think you have the ability to talk, just chat. So. Yeah. I answered your question. Okay. Well, I don't hear Debbie anymore, so this is just going to be me speaking with Harlan and Darla at this point. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. If you have anything specific, we rescue dogs, cats. We also do endangered species like wolves and sea turtles. And we've done a spider monkey. We've done pigs and parakeets. We also do disaster response. Lisa, I don't know Kindred Hearts. Where are you calling from, Lisa? We'll have to look in Kindred Hearts. How do we fly in bad weather? That's a good question. Oh, welcome. Lisa Graham, our director of marketing, used to work for Animal Rescue League of Boston. So I'm not vegan, but I'm vegetarian. I have been vegan before, but now I eat eggs, fish, and dairy. How do I fly in bad weather? Well, you would need an instrument rating to fly in bad weather, and that enables you to fly solely by reference to instruments. So I can fly the plane without even seeing outside the plane. It's like a video game at that point. You really need to trust your instruments. So a lot of training. But bad thunderstorms is not advisable, no matter what plane. We do have radar on board. We have something called ADS-B weather. You communicate with air traffic control. Depending on the size of the cells, the thunderstorms, you can go around them, but you really can't go through them. And we can't really go above them because the plane is not pressurized. So we can only fly to 8,000 feet with animals on board, because if we go above 8,000 feet, they're going to have trouble breathing. Humans, we can fly to 12,500 for about 30 minutes, and then we have to use oxygen. So other bad weather, I can fly in clouds and fog. We can land even. We can fly all the way down to what's called minimums, which might be only 100 or 200 feet above the ground without seeing, which is an amazing experience because, as you can imagine, you're going down something called a glide slope, and you're centered with the runway, but you can't see it, and then you break out of the clouds, and then it just lights. It's like a Christmas tree, especially when it's at night. Anyways, I can geek out at aviation, but I don't think anybody's a pilot, so I won't do too much of that. Harlan, you're right. The fires from Canada are affecting the Northeast. From my understanding, it's really bad in the Midwest. So I know you're up in Michigan. The air quality here is just over 100 AQI, which is, for sensitive individuals, really shouldn't go outside. But I can tell you, there's really dark. It looks like just a dark cloud over Brooklyn, and you can smell it. It's nothing compared to 2023, though. Back in 2023, we had orange skies. The skies looked like they were on fire. So I hope everybody in Midwest is okay. I'm sorry, Harlan. I was talking of Darla. I had to go back in the chat. Darla is in Michigan. Kindred Hearts Transport Connection, ground transport for pets. No, I'm not familiar with them. I'll have to look into them. We do have 8 rescue vans, so we do quite a bit of ground transport. The ground transport is sort of the muscle behind our mission, and it mitigates some of the aviation costs because aviation is very expensive, as you can imagine. So, but what else? What other questions do you have? Oh, you could smell the fire in Massachusetts. Yeah, it's pretty big if you look at that map. It's pretty massive. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, let me go back to Debbie's questions or the questions that were come up, and I'll start answering some of them. I can certainly talk about this forever. It's my passion. So let me find those questions. Of course, when I need to find them, I can't find them, but I know they're somewhere. You guys are probably wondering what it's like to have animals in a plane. They largely just go to sleep because there's less oxygen on board. So as you can imagine, they get a little sleepy, just like we do when we take a commercial flight. That's sort of how it feels. You get a little tired. So occasionally you get some yappy dogs, especially the small ones. So, but for the most part, they're we call them passengers. They're good passengers. So, what other questions do you guys have?
Yep, Michael, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right, good news. I had to turn into technical support, okay? And I did it.
All right.
So, yes. So, anyway, I'm sorry, everyone, that just had them audio problems. I'll have to get with Riverside and they do some troubleshooting with them because it's always good to know all this when something happens, because they don't have a phone. They just have support chat and the emails, so this is good. I got back in messing with these, and the features and stuff. So I'm still living and learning, right, Michael? But you want to go
That's
ahead
right.
and give out your website as much of the social media sites out there and for all the listeners to check out. Because after the show gets published this evening, I will add all the links in there, okay, when the final episode is. And then that's going to go on YouTube, 2 YouTube channels, my websites, 25 other podcast websites, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, also podserve.fm, Podbean. I still have the app and web on there, so you're just using it as a hosting site, so all the word's going to get out there. So that's the good news. I want to keep this, going and expanding and picking up more subscribers, especially action takers that really want to help out, so, but go ahead and give that out, and then I'll have some more questions for you. And we still got, you'll be on there till 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, everybody. And if you're in the chat room, there is a public chat room and also a live studio chat room. So you can also interact with other listeners and also speak to the guests. And I know there's on their side there, they can request to talk to you. So if anybody wants to speak to Michael also, but we'll let Michael go ahead and give out his website and everything. So, and if you have to go back and listen, all the information's on here. You might want to record it or write it down, follow their pages or whatever you can help out with. Because the more support they got, the better, right, Michael? It takes teamwork all the way. But go right ahead.
It does. Our website's pilotstotherescue.org. We're also on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. So feel free to check us out.
Oh yeah, and I've already followed all the the Facebook pages and everything, and also on LinkedIn, because the more exposure out there, the more we share out there, hey, the better, and we are strength in numbers, and the more, we will all work better together than apart. And that's what it takes. Keep pressing that share button, keep spreading the word of what they're doing, because it's so highly impressive and so recognized. And even for the animals especially thank us for what we're doing. They can't tell us, but it shows in their lives and futures, and we know we're a big part of it. And that's why I keep having these podcasts from all angles helping animals out. I wish I could help them all every day, but there's 532 shows, and I could do my best outside of this podcast. And whatever you could do, donate. Donate some time and effort, because it's meaningful time, because the animals really need us. That's what counts. But anyway, Michael, for listeners who may not be familiar with the problem, why do healthy and adoptable animals sometimes need to be transported hundreds or even thousands of miles to survive? Go right ahead.
Well, it's by transporting animals that are at risk, we're giving them a second chance to be adopted. Because, for example, when we go down south and we rescue these animals that are at risk of being euthanized in overcrowded shelters, there's someone up in New England that wants to adopt them. So inevitably, there's some type of animals that just do better in certain regions, and it's a supply and demand thing. And sometimes the demand is further away. That's the nature of our business. Transport programs are widely used in animal welfare, and it's a tricky thing. Transport is not something that people want to do. It's risky. There's a lot of logistics involved, whether you're moving them on the ground or air. And these assets are expensive. They're expensive to acquire, to maintain, to insure. And there's a lot of moving parts. And nobody says, hey, I want to drive when I grow up. So our pilots are volunteer, and they're very skilled, and they're building time to go to the airline. So it's a win-win. The drivers, we actually found that we have to pay them to get the job done. And they're great individuals, but there's tremendous turnover because it's an hourly job. So the driving is the difficult part. But a shelter in Georgia that's overcrowded, they'll reach out to us and say, we have 20 dogs and cats we need to move to make room in the shelter. Can you transport them? We have a partner in New Jersey. So that's the typical calling. And that shelter in New Jersey, they adopt out 20 animals in a week. And that's how this all goes, supply and demand. If we can get them from point A to point B, we can save their lives. We fly to save lives.
Oh yeah, and that's great. That's a great feeling too, because and if there's any callers that want to speak to Michael, having comments or questions, just try to, stay away from any noises in the background, TVs, radios, and conversations. And you're more and welcome to come on air. Because we got probably like 25 minutes left, and we can, if you're in the chat room, you could ask questions in there too. I was going to try and put some links in there for him, because we've got studio chat going, and also the public chat where all the live stream shows are shown right now on social media, my Facebook and X and LinkedIn. And thank you all out there for tuning in also. And you can, add some comments on those posts. With this live streaming going on with the social medias where it does have public chat, I'm getting more familiar with that, and I think it's awesome. So I just want to let everybody know, hey, we're all in this together, and we're all stronger together than apart. And I said that, I'll keep saying it, because change don't happen overnight. We have to keep working together. Positive, in order to see change, you got to take action. No questions asked. And I know Michael has a lot of heartwarming stories from these animals, and that brings us a positive impact, Michael. That's what it takes, what you're doing. and don't stop, because that's where it starts. When, hey, somebody starts up, and then you get all these supporters, and all the supporters for Pilots to the Rescue. Big shout out to all of you too, and keep it up, because the animals really need us. They're defenseless and helpless and voiceless and innocent, but from all angles. And the more we do for them, hey, the better their lives and futures become out there. So, but I got another question, Michael. How does a typical rescue mission come together? The first request for assistance to the moment an animal arrives at the receiving rescue or shelter. And I noticed at the shelters right now, they're over capacity, throughout the United States, and everyone don't shop, spay and neuter your pets, please, because up to approximately 1 million healthy adoptable animals are getting put down a year throughout the U.S. And that's so sad and heartbreaking, all ages. So encourage, you're looking for your furry loved ones, or, one or two, hey, go visit your local nearest shelter and help save a life or lives out there, because this is major crisis right going on. And these animals deserve so much better. And to tell you, if your neighbors or your coworkers or your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, your sons and daughters looking for a healthy adopted animal, please visit the shelter and spread the word. They need us now, okay? And let's see that almost 1 million a year massively decrease. You want to see it go to zero, but we only wish it could go to zero. But please tell everyone, because of this inflation is not helping matters from any angle anyway, because of the vet bills going up, the food, the surgeries, the pet life insurance. It's sickening. Something's got to give here. It seems like it's profit before animals, profit before people, and it needs to change around to the other way to make it fair for everyone, because we're not all rich out there. So please visit your local animal shelter, spread the word, share it on social media, whatever you could do to help out. Right, Michael? Let's really help them out and do some more for them, more adoption events out there, and help them out. I mean, I wanted to make sure I brought the beagles out there at the Rigland farm, and you helped transport them too, Michael. That is so encouraging. I was a big part of sharing that too, you know, and they got to safety. So thank you too. In fact, all of you. In Wisconsin, I was at Wisconsin. Yes, but go right ahead, Michael. It's
Yeah,
great.
we
Go
did
ahead.
two Ridgeland Beagle flights. One in Ground Zero in Wisconsin, and the other one from Big Dog Ranch Rescue in Okeechobee, Florida. They were behind Lori, the founder of Big Dog Ranch Rescue, was behind big movement behind shutting down Ridgeland, and took in, I don't know, 1,000 beagles into their facility, or processed 1,000 beagles.
Yes.
And there were 7,000 applications for those beagles. They were famous. But why we did that transport is because we made a stand against animal testing and animal cruelty. That's what that's all about. When we buy beauty products, for example, you can make a choice every time you buy them. You want to buy beauty products that are not tested on animals. It's a little rabbit sign. It says cruelty free. And testing pharmaceuticals on animals doesn't exactly translate to humans. There are other ways to do it, and it's time to stop testing on animals. So I'm glad we played our small part transporting about 30 of those beagles. So.
Yes, so that was a big victory there too, and we all want to see these victories keep coming through, nonstop, and whatever
Sure.
we could do, that's our goals, you know, better lives and futures. I love that word victory, it's powerful. And that's what we're all on here for, goals and good news and positive news, positivity, bring the negative into the positive. It can be done. And it takes strong teamwork all the way, right? We cannot give up. Quitters never win and winners never quit. So we all got to be winners for the animals, not losers for the animals, because they mean so much to us. They deserve the best life possible out there. I was looking at some of the photos, and they're so meaningful what you're doing there, Michael, and Pilots to the Rescue, and in images and on the Facebook page. And it's like, look at this. This puts a big smile to your face when you see an animal get rescued and helped out in a better future. Maybe it's been injured, or, and from every angle out there. And it takes all of us. They need us human beings out there, because without us, they don't stand a chance. They don't a fighting chance. So whatever you can do out there for them, every effort counts. And the social media is a landing strip for all of us to meet together and share for the mama bear, okay? And the like button and all that, that doesn't serve no justice. But when you press that share, it gets into news feed, and maybe a couple won't read it, but another three or four might. So you're attracting more action takers, and that's the key, right, Michael? That is the key. We want to turn that key. Yes, and the better. But if anybody in the live studio chat, I know the public chat, you can't speak from there, but the live studio chat, if you want to come on air, you're more than welcome um, to speak to Michael. He's going to be at about 15 more minutes, and we can go from there, okay? But anyway, while I'm waiting, Michael, I want to have some more questions about it. Tell us about Big Paw, the organization's primary rescue aircraft. What type plane is it, and how it configured to transport animals safely?
Yeah, Big Paw is a 2013 Kodiak 100 aircraft. I was talking earlier about how some of our older planes, like our first plane was a 1976 single engine piston plane. And those planes are very old technology, and they're not really meant to fly as much as we flew them. So we finally raised enough money to buy a proper aircraft. That's Big Paw. It's a 10-passenger aircraft. We take out the rear 8 seats. We've done 68 dogs and cats. We've done 83 cats. It's a turboprop, which is basically a jet engine driving a propeller. And those planes are very reliable. And we're looking for another one. So yeah, we fly the crap out of that plane.
I bet. And your rescue vans have become an important part of the operation as well. Why did the organization expand into ground transportation, and how do the planes and vans work together?
Great question. Yeah, we have 8 transport vans, so these diesel Sprinter vans, Mercedes Sprinter vans, and we were rolling them out across the country. Of course, we have 2 at our home base in New Jersey. We have one in Greenville, South Carolina, one in Vero Beach, Florida. We put one in Dallas. We're looking to put one in the Midwest, possibly New Mexico. And they're a drop in the bucket compared to the planes cost-wise. And, you have weather events, you have maintenance events, so we don't want to skip a beat. We still want to be able to do transport. That's where the vans come in. And sometimes we do hybrid transports where the vans load up the animals at night, like in Dallas. They drive through the night, and then we meet them with a plane in like Tennessee and fly them back the rest of New Jersey. So the way we can cover more ground and mitigate some of those aviation costs.
Mm. Oh, and I wanted to ask you, with the original farms in Wisconsin, how recently you've helped them transport them? How did the organization become involved in that enormous rescue effort? That was a huge, victory there. I remember sharing it all over social media and being involved. And that's what it takes, is getting involved to help get the word out there, from the start to the finish. And it's still going on right now. So, but those bagels, they spent their lives in confinement and had little experience in ordinary affection, grasped, none of that with affection, grass toys, or human interaction. Isn't that sad? Well, that's not a life for them at all. And I know when they was released to freedom and adopted, they had to jump for joy, and that's the way it all should be. I'm against animal testing and always will be. I've had many shows on that, and hopefully we get rid of all of it. It's so cruel and heartless. It's no life form. It's torture. Get traumatized. Yeah. So we got to work together to end it completely, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of teamwork and working together and stepping up to the plate and helping each one out and getting spreading the word and doing your part. Taking that action is the key, right, Michael? We have to take that action. Let your voices be heard. Yep. But that's amazing with them and all the beagles that they rescued. What a happy, I mean, I remember seeing it going through news feed, and it lifted me up so much. And I know it did all of you because you was again a part of it, right? I mean, all the great stories and endings that you have, and that's keeps you encourages to go further, right? It's awesome. Thank you. Yep, it does. So whatever it takes. Okay, there we go. Are you there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here.
Yep. But isn't that amazing though? It is. It's just so impressive and encouraging to have all that happen.
Happy
So
to do it.
yeah, we have to do it. Take that time and effort. It's meaningful time. It's not just you know wasteful time. We're not spinning our wheels. We're taking action, and we've seen it over and over again. The power in numbers of people, and see the good news coming. That's what we want to continue. The positive coming in. That because every effort counts. So never think that it doesn't. But anything that you do doesn't matter because it does. And spread the word. To whomever. Let them know what goes on behind the scenes, and you're not going to approve of it. And take your anger into action because that's what I do. I mean, this podcast is not the only thing that I do. I'm on, X and LinkedIn and Facebook with, pages and groups and helping out wherever I can, getting the word out, sharing petitions, whatever it takes, so. But anyway, Michael, we're coming down to 10 minutes here. I appreciate you coming on here and thank you for filling in a little bit when I'm, was working with turning my hat to technical support. Okay. I did it. So I got to live and learn. But anyway, running an animal transport organization includes pilots, drivers, shelter partners, veterinarian considerations, fuel cost scheduling, weather, and fundraising. What part of the operation do people rarely see or understand?
I would say um, behind the scenes development is something that a lot of charities focus on, raising money. And it's more than meets the eye. We're kind of in between the public perception that charities should pay their people nothing and 100% should go to the mission, which is unrealistic. And we try to balance that with fundraising and paying our staff and still giving back. And it's a big controversial subject within the charitable world. We're still small as a charity, but there are a lot of charities out there that have huge treasure chests, and uh, unfortunately, not a lot goes to the mission. So that's kind of the line that we straddle. It's really important, of course, to give to the cause and make a stand for animals, but it's equally important to attract and hire talented people to run your organization. So that's something I think about all the time because when I ran a for-profit company, I could do whatever I want. If I made $5 million, I could pay myself $1 million if I wanted to. But a nonprofit, that's frowned upon. A charity that brings in $5 million, you cannot pay yourself $1 million a year. So how do these charities attract the best and brightest if they can't pay enough? And that's a common theme and topic of discussion. What people don't realize is that people that work for nonprofits, they work twice as hard for half the pay, but they make up for it in fulfillment and making a difference. Because when you go work a for-profit job, you're not really making a difference. So you trade off compensation for making a difference. And working I've started a lot of businesses in the past, and they were nowhere near as fulfilling as what I'm doing now. So to anybody listening to this, pick something that you're passionate about and go do that. Don't stay at your dead-end job that you hate just because it pays you lots of money. It's much better to save lives than to buy a new pair of shoes or a new car. And I have countless blessings in my life for all this work that I've done, because when you give, you get back.
Yes, I totally believe that, And the organization has grown from your personal ideas into a large volunteer-driven rescue network. What has been the most difficult part of the growth, and what accomplishments makes you most proud? So we'll go with the most difficult part of the growth, and then we'll move to the other question.
What makes me most proud about this organization is the countless accolades and compliments that we get for saving all these animals' lives. We get to hear from the most passionate animal welfare people out there that support our cause and keep giving in such a good way. But they also write letters from the heart, and that the words are powerful, and they motivate us to keep saving. I'm also very proud of the fact that this is the most successful idea that I've ever had. Having a staff of 4 people and all these volunteer pilots, it's amazing to be able to. I'm turning 50 this year, but I started doing this full time when I was 45. So it took me 45 years to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. So I'm very proud that I realized that at a relatively young age. And some people go their whole lives before they find out what they really want to do, and then it's too late. So I'm very happy I was able to figure that out in my midlife.
Oh yeah, and you did a great choice there. And something that you enjoy doing, and you're a positive impact, and nothing negative about it. Keep it up there, Michael. And that means so much. Because some people, like you said, that they get something they don't like or not interested in, it makes them miserable. And that's not the life to take, because we all have a choice in life. Just, we have to go for it and do what our heart brings to us. Like with this podcast, my heart led me to this. I've done animal advocacy before this podcast 12 years ago and before that. And I said, I'm going to go expand, get on a podcast and still do the advocacy. I'm not just going to do the podcast and give up the advocacy. It's me, it's my thing in life, where I want to do something that's positive in life for the animals. And I enjoy it. And when you're doing this kind of stuff and you see the victories come through and the good news, it keeps you going. I mean, it keeps me stronger. I don't want to stop there. Hey, I'm going to stop here. No, I'm going to keep going with my, advocacy and the podcast and everything, because it encourages me, it inspires me heavily. And I know it does you too,
That's right.
So we cannot give up. I'll do this to my last breath, because I'm very comfortable with it. With this podcast, with the live stream and the live studio chat room with call-ins, been doing that for 12 years. And that's when I started on Blog Talk Radio back in June of 2014. So I just celebrated my 12-year anniversary, June 25th, with 531 podcasts. And that's something. Time flies, and I'm going to keep going. So yeah, and I'm going to keep going, because that's it's who I am. It's what I'm doing, and it's I don't want to give it up. So, and that's when Podbean was removing the live stream with the live studio chat and call-ins, and I said I I want to keep Podbean at a lower plan rate on hosting, but I went to found Riverside, which had the same thing, and so I was very happy. And that uplifted me so much, because we're used to that for 12 years, and then to change just the guest and the host, is not my field because I'm so used to the other one. I guess you call me spoiled, right? but um, but anyway, I'm gonna wind this down here, Michael, for you. And I guess, what aims are your plans for the next stage of Pilots to the Rescue?
The next stage is continuing to expand on our fleet, both in the air and on the ground, and rescue more dogs and cats, rescue more endangered species, and get involved in disaster response. So, we're at about 7,300 animals, so let's get to 10,000. That's going to be the next stage.
All
Hopefully
right.
within the
Yes.
next year. That's
Yes.
by
I
the
know
end of
you.
next year, I'm hoping.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. And you know what? Looking forward to having you back again. Once you come in, the more exposure, the better. The more
That's right.
not just to bring it up and then all of a sudden, um, it fades out, fizzles out. We don't want that to happen. That's why I have guests on. There's no limit on how many times they come on. It's unlimited, and keep going. Because get to know each other, you can become friends, and I mean, I've seen so many of my former guests get together, work together. Isn't that wonderful? That's so inspiring and connect, and that brings more more people in, more action takers, and spreading the word out there. So, but anyway, it's 8 o'clock right now, and I can't thank you enough, Michael, for coming on air this evening, and looking forward to having you come back on again. Okay, and again, because I have all your information. You just say you be a subscriber, and I send you the email invitation. I'm not sure if you got that one from Riverside, because I got certain different ways to get in, coming into this live stream. But I always make sure my guests get connected and to work together, help promote my shows every Thursday, with a lot of support and help. That means a lot too, because I'm a one woman operation. I produce it and host it and schedule it. And, the only thing I need help with is promoting it. That's the only thing. So I keep myself busy. All the time, with the personal life, have to make time for ourselves, but I want to spend, meaningful time with doing what I'm doing. It's me, and I can feel it's me because I enjoy it. I don't mind at all. It's meaningful time and positivity coming our way. I can't take credit for anything, but when you're involved, it's a human chain reaction to take action, right? The domino effect. Come on, everyone, and take that action. But is there any before you leave here? Is there anything else you would like the listeners to know, or to please check out the website, everybody, and the great website and Facebook pages, and you name it, and YouTube. Be a subscriber to, and help give them the support, even donate. Every donation counts. $5, $10, $20. Spread the word, because none of this is for free. It costs from every angle, right, Michael? It gets costly.
Yeah,
And
look at the
whatever.
price of fuel.
Exactly. There you go, right there. Yes, the fuel. So whatever you could donate, even share, if you can donate that, your donations are appreciated. Generosity, spread the word and help them out, give them their support, because none of this is free, and the gas for them and everything. And you're donating for something positive, not negative. But if you got anything to say to the audience before you leave, go right ahead. And then once this is
Yeah.
all published, I will send it to email to you. Okay. It'll be
Yes.
later on tonight, and then you could go ahead and share it again, put it on your websites or wherever you want to. But go
Thank
right
you so
ahead.
much.
You're so
I just
welcome.
want to thank your listeners, Darla, Lisa, Harlan. Thank you for tuning in. I just want to, tell people that this is a win-win. I love doing this work. I'm very passionate about it. I feel extremely fortunate that I was able to combine these two loves and save over 7,000 animals. So it's truly a joy to do this work. And I'm grateful to all our supporters. Please visit pilotstotherescue.org. And thank you, Debbie, for helping me spread my message.
Hey, you're so welcome. And Michael, you're always welcome back, okay? And looking forward to having you come back, all right? I will be in contact with Patricia. Thank you, Patricia, so much for all you do to get us connected. And also Lisa Graham. It's Patricia Jones. And Lisa, thank you all so much. It's so meaningful and great teamwork, super staff and super team out there. And everyone, next week, our guest is going to be Lee Cox, and he is the founder of the Orangutan Project. He'll be joining us, and I want to welcome him aboard. The show starts at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, and 4 o'clock Pacific, Riverside live stream. And hope you join us. It'll be his first time on board, and want to welcome him. The first time the show for the orangutans, and all animals' lives matter. Every single one of them, right, Michael? From every angle. And that's what Voices Carry for Animals podcast is about, standing and speaking up for the animals in need and distress. But I want to welcome him aboard, and all these shows are recorded live, and they're going to be recorded and on-demand episodes, and you can subscribe free at Voices Carry for Animals podcast.riverside.com. And when you subscribe, just use your full name or nickname, and then put in your email address, and also then you'll put submit. And then this is very important: when you get a follow-up email, it'll say thanks for subscribing, and then you press the submit subscription, and then you are in. And every time it's published, you will get an email stating the episode has been published, and you can go to right there and listen to right there in case you miss it, or any of them. You can always go back 24/7, 365 days a year. So that's so impressive also. And as a subscriber, please spread the word. I do have a newsletter that's going to all subscribers. Please read them. They're very important. This comes from some of the shows, and the host website, and that's where I am. And also you can follow or subscribe to my Voices Carry for Animals.com, and follow, subscribe, and you can also get the shows once they're published right into your email. But hey, it's been a great show there, Michael. Really enjoyed it, and so sorry about the little trouble we was having on the audio. I'll figure that out later, but it did work out, so that's a plus. I didn't get thrown off the boat or anything, I had a life raft come on get me, but anyway, I hope Leap Cox comes back. When he comes on next week, let's welcome him on board, because all these animals from every angle matter to us. They all deserve to live in peace and love and freedom and care and the best lives possible, because all of us are on this earth temporarily, including all the animals. So let's make the best for them. Get them out of harm's way. Let them, no abuse and neglect. There's no excuse for it. Exploitation, captivity. I mean, it's sad what's going on out there. How many have no lives? And Michael, with the beagles and stuff, they had no life living that, animal testing. Let's get rid of it. And together we can all make a difference. We just got to at least try. Right, Michael? We have to try. We cannot say it won't happen, because it can happen. But anyway, I'm going to, and all you listeners that's in the chat room, Michelle and Harold and Lisa, so glad you joined us this evening. And the live studio chat room, there's also a public chat room. I have to get more information on out there, because this is awesome what they got going on the social media platforms, because you can also go and listen to them also. Back and listen 24/7. I always want to put them in the featured on my Voices Carry for Animals support group or my Voices Carried for Animals podcast Facebook page, Voices Carried for Animals podcast page on X, or my personal page of Debbie Dahmer on X. Also follow me. LinkedIn, I'm on there under my personal page, Debbie Dahmer. I'm all these websites and every Podbean app and web. I still have that going just for hosting only, and that's Voices Carried for Animals podbean.com. That's where I used to go on live stream at, but you can start up an account or go and download it on the app, voice or on Podbean. So either on the App Store or the Google Play. And you can get access to the shows on there. And the two YouTube channels, Animal Warrior Radio, and also the other one is Voices Carried for Animals podcast. And you can subscribe there also. Or also on podserve.fm. You could go search Animal Warrior Radio, and all the shows will show up there also. So the word is getting out there, so it is spreading throughout. And the more voices, the better, right, Michael? This is wonderful. And the more I can work on this and get it out there, Mama Bear is on a roll, so catch me if you can. Right? But anyway, I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. If there's any questions, want to come through the chat room or you want to get on air, you're more than welcome, because we're going to be closing down here. And hopefully you join us next week. And Michael, thank you again. And thanks for all the inspiring, impressive work all of you are doing. Keep it up. I mean, it just brings a smile to my face, and so encouraging. And stand together, everyone. Just stay, work together. Teamwork rocks and teamwork wins. Okay. And when we come to see these victories and these good news and positive news, that makes us all keep going stronger. I know it does me. So, but anyway, everyone, you have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much again, Michael. And can't wait to have you back on air again. Okay. And keep it up. And all you listeners out there from all social media, X and Facebook and LinkedIn that's listening to this live stream from Riverside, thank you all so much to tune in. Keep spreading the word out there. Thank you for all your continuing support. And all of you, this list is long, who helps me out promoting this show on X, where I go and tag them. And I want to, who you are. And a big Mama Bear hug to all of you on LinkedIn and X and Facebook pages and groups. I can't do it without all of you. But we will get together next week, and all these guests, these amazing guests, continue coming in. I love it, and I'm so thankful and blessed for it. And they'll keep coming, so we got them to keep coming in, and they're great. I mean, every one of them is so important out there, and great shows and listeners. So feel free to join us. But everyone have a nice and peaceful evening, and hope you join us next week. But thank you. Good night, Michael. You have a great and relaxful evening, and thank you again. Okay. And everyone, I can't thank all of you enough. And these shows will be published, and it will be published and listened to 24/7. So you can always go back and spread the word to everyone that you know, because we are strength in numbers out there. Okay. But everyone have a peaceful evening. Thank you for tuning in, making voices heard worldwide. Okay. And all your voices do matter. Your actions matter. In order to see change, we got to take action. No questions asked. But we will go. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
What happened?